Jack Penguin, and welcome to another LEGO Harry Potter collection video. So today we're going to be looking at two different versions of the Burrow. On this side over here, we have set number 4840, the Burrow. This set includes 568 pieces, which is 474 less than the 2020 version, 6 minifigures, and originally retailed for $59.99 back in September of 2010. As for this beauty on this side, we have set number 75980, Attack on the Burrow. This set includes 1,042 pieces and 8 minifigures and retails for $99.99 starting September 1st of 2020. Having both these sets side by side, you can definitely tell that the new 2021 is miles better than the previous version that came out back in 2010. Both sets are referencing the same exact scene from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the movie, since this scene never happened within the books. So getting right into this, we might as well start with comparing our minifigures. Getting right into our minifigure selection, we might as well start with the boy who lived, Harry Potter himself. We get Harry Potter in both versions of the Burrow right here. Definitely the one from the newer set is a lot more accurate for this particular scene, though this one I do really like seeing, even though it does come inside other sets. When it comes to the 2020 version, that one also comes within one other set within the 2020 line, but unlike the other one, this one I think comes within 3 or 4 of the other sets from the 2010 line. When it comes to the wands, that is definitely the biggest difference right here, where we have the stick piece over here for the 2010 version, and then we have the new wand piece that was introduced back in 2018. When it comes to the outfits, we have more of a casual look for Harry Potter. This was when they were doing more general related Harry Potter sets compared to sets that were based mainly around certain parts of the films, since this version is mainly based around year 5 through 6. That could be based around year 3 through 7. Another thing that does set this older version of Harry Potter apart from the newer one is the printing for the torso right there, which is a lot better than the torso printing for the newer one, which is a reused torso piece compared to this one that was made exclusively for Harry Potter. Both of them feature double-sided facial expressions with a happy face on the front, and then you can take off the hairpiece from the very back to see an unhappy face for Harry Potter. We also get different hair pieces for these characters. Back in the day, they used to use this hair piece primarily for Harry Potter for every version that they released from 2001 all the way to 2011, compared to nowadays where we have different hairstyles for different versions of Harry Potter. We have the short haircut style for this version, and we even saw an exclusive piece made for his character back in 2018, and then we saw one other different hairpiece for the Goblet of Fire version in 2019. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for our minifigures of Harry Potter. For our next minifigure, we have Ginny Weasley. This one is a very interesting update. When it comes to the previous version, we have some leg printing right there, which I think is very nice, and I believe this one might even be exclusive to the set. When it comes to the torso prints, we have a huge difference right here. We have a reused torso piece for the 2010 Ginny, which was also used for Hermione Granger within the Diagon Alley set, and then we have an exclusive torso print for the new 2020 version, though neither of these actually fit the scene that this set is portraying. We also have the same difference when it comes to the wands right there. We have different facial expressions. We have a reused facial expression, I believe, for the 2020 Ginny Weasley, and then we had an exclusive one made for the 2010-2011 wave of her character. We also get the same hairpiece for her minifigure. You can take a look at the back printing. And then we also have a double-sided facial expression, giving you a more worried look for the 2020 version, and then an unhappy look for the 2010 version. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for Ginny Weasley. For our next minifigure, we have Molly Weasley. The biggest update when it comes to her character is the inclusion of the skirt piece, though I would have really liked to see a print on that when it came to the 2020 version. I do like seeing the printing on the legs for the previous version right there. You can see that they have very similar outfits. The 2010 version has the apron over what would be this outfit for this minifigure. You can also take a look at the back printing for the characters. We get a reused facial expression for the 2020 version compared to the 2010 version that used a new and exclusive facial expression for the character. We also use the older style Hermione hairpiece for the 2010 version right there, and then we use the Kira hairpiece from the Star Wars A Solo storyline for the newer version, and then you can take a look at the facial expressions for the character. Very nice happy facial expression. I think that the newer one definitely captures Mrs. Weasley's look, and you can just take a look at these side by side and how they look, and I think that they did a wonderful job with the newer version of Mrs. Weasley. When it comes to the 2020 version, we also get an alternate facial expression compared to the 2010 version that only features one facial expression. So yeah, that's pretty much all for Mrs. Weasley. For our next minifigure, we have Arthur Weasley. The biggest update when it comes to this character is also the outfit right there. I really love the outfit for the newer version. You can take a look at the torso printing for that. I think that LEGO did a wonderful job with the torso printing. Though both characters do include exclusive torso prints, I think that the new 2020 version definitely does him justice right there. You can take a look at the back printing. In addition, we also get a very nice facial expression for both of these characters. I really like the newer facial expression as well, where you can also see the tiredness in his eyes, which I really like. We also get the same hairpiece for both these characters, and then you can also take a look at the alternate facial expression for the 2020 version, which we also do not get a double-sided facial expression for the 2010 version, just like Mrs. Weasley right there. So yeah, that's pretty much all for Arthur Weasley. Moving on to the baddies of this set, we have Fenrir Greyback right here. The biggest update when it comes to the newer version is that we get some leg printing right there, which works very well. That is the new leg printing that they use for pretty much most of the new Wizarding World characters, or a lot of different characters from different LEGO themes. I think it's very nice that they introduced a piece that can be interchanged between a lot of different characters right there. We also get a little bit more chest hair and a lot more of the chest exposed when it comes to the 2020 version. And also another thing to note is that LEGO still had the problem of printing a lighter color on a darker surface. When it came to the previous 2010 minifigures, we have the same problem with the 2020 characters, which this one does look a little bit faded, more of like a very bad white color, though I do think that the torso piece for the newer version is a much better improvement. We also do get some back printing on the new 2020 version, and then both of them do feature double-sided facial expressions, where we have this one facial expression from the very front. We also get some very nice shine to the eyes of the 2020 version. That's another thing that I did want to point out. And then from the other side, we have the other facial expression, where you can see that we have two different facial expressions when it comes to these characters. I also really like how the hair looks for the face of the 2020 version as well. We have more of an angry look right there with the teeth, and then we have just a stern look for the other one. And also the hairpiece is the same, though we get it in different colors. We get it in dark brown for the 2010, and we get it in black for the 2020 version. So yeah, that's all for Fenrir Greyback. And then for our final minifigure comparison, we have Bellatrix Lestrange. Right here, the biggest difference is the inclusion of the new skirt piece for the 2020 version, which also makes her shorter than the previous version of Bellatrix, who uses that slope piece, which also has a print on it, which is something that I would have really liked to see when it came to the 2020 version. If we got a print on that skirt piece, that would have been very nice. Another thing that I do want to say when it comes to the wands for these characters is that when we have this newer wand piece, it is quite easy to bend if you want to make a special curved wand for Bellatrix. That's one thing that I was experimenting with. Since it is rather bendable, you can bend that piece so then you can make it a curved wand for Bellatrix. When it comes to the torso printing, we still have the same problem of the printing a lighter color on a darker surface. When it comes to the flesh tone right there, I do like seeing the little dagger necklace for both of these characters, and the printing does work very well, though we do get some back printing for both of these characters, and I think that the 2020 version definitely does it a lot better than the 2010 version. So here's a quick look at the back printing for both of these characters and the alternate facial expressions. Still the same problem with printing a lighter color on a darker surface when it comes to the 2010 version, though I also really love the 2010 facial expression since it has those darker shadows around the eyes, and I think that the facial expression for the new collectible minifigures version of Bellatrix will definitely improve upon the design of this one if you switch it out. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for our minifigures of Bellatrix Lestrange. And then finally we have our last two minifigures who come within the 2020 Burrow, that being Ron Weasley and Nymphadora Tonks for the very first time in LEGO form. Compared to the 2010 Burrow, we do not get either of these characters within there, so I think it's very nice that we get two added on minifigures when it comes to the $100 price point of the new Burrow, though definitely that $100 price point makes the set look beautiful itself. Taking a look at these characters, we do get some very nice torso prints right there, though Ron Weasley's torso print is the same that we see within the Hagrid's Hut Buckbeak's Rescue. They both have the plain black legs right there, both get the brown one for their accessory. We get double-sided facial expressions, reused facial expressions for both of these characters, I believe, other than Nymphadora Tonks might be exclusive, but I'm not really too sure. We get some common reused hair pieces for both of their characters. We get some very nice back printing, and then they both feature double-sided facial expressions where we have more angry or unhappy looks from the very back. So yeah, that's pretty much all for our minifigure selection. Moving back to the model over here, there are so many differences when it comes to the overall layout and look of these. You can definitely tell that they put a lot more effort into the newer one based on the color scheme right there alone, even for like the roofing tiles. So let's take a quick look between these two different models. So starting from the very front, I think that the very front of the 2020 version is the best right here, using some very interesting building techniques. And like I said, the color scheme from the very front right here of the roofing tiles looks very nice, and also it looks very accurate compared to the source material. This one has a lot more length when it comes to the very front of this one, which I think is very interesting that they went that route. And this one is a lot shorter when it comes to the very front of how the door goes for this set. We also used the regular door piece for the 2020 version compared to the Harry Potter style doors that were released back in the 2001 waves. The windows are also very different when it comes to these sets. We get a lot more of the regular type of windows when it comes to the 2010 version compared to the 2020 version that does do the extra step of adding some stickers to these windows just to give it that extra feel when it comes to the set, and very accurate to the source material as well when it comes to looking at this side by side to the actual thing. We also get some more stickers when it comes to the front of these on these wall elements, and then we even get some more stickers when it comes to the side of the set. So if you turn it, both sets feature a pig pen right here, which is another thing that I think is very interesting. We also do get two different pig pieces when it comes to these sets. So putting these side by side right here, for the newer set we get more of a pink pig compared to the previous set that featured more of this darker flesh tone for the pig right there, which I think is very nice. We also get the printing for the eyes and also the stud on the very back. I think it's the same exact mold, we just get it in different colors. That's why I said I never owned this particular pig, because I never owned one within this bright pink color. So yeah, that's all for these small little pigs. When it comes to how the pig pens are made, I think that the new one for 2020 works very well, though we do get a print compared to stickers for the gate for the pig, and also the pig does have an extra gate to actually enter the house, which is another thing that I think is very interesting when it comes to the 2010 version compared to the 2020 version, where we only get the gate from the one side. In addition, the 2020 version does also have this small little bucket just for feeding the pig, which is another very nice touch. And like I said, you know, if you look at the sides of this particular burrow right here, you can see that this one definitely goes against the reference material a lot better compared to the 2010 version. Another thing that I do have to note when it comes to these two sets is that when it comes to the 2020 version, we do get the option of opening up this area to reveal an interior, compared to the previous version that only has the dollhouse style from the very back of the set. And this one also has the interior from the opposite side, so then you get one side for display of the actual house, and then you get one side that actually has the interior where you can have your minifigures interacting. Another thing when it comes to the display of this set is that the newer version for 2020 also has more of a slight angle when it comes to the very top. I really love the building technique for that, and you can even remove this top area if you want to get closer into the set, compared to the previous version that is pretty much just built up using just regular pieces and doesn't really have too much angling when it comes to the building style for that one. And pretty much what it comes down to is just the color scheme of this set. Like I said, I really love the roofing for the newer set compared to the previous one that only uses the one primary color of the dark red, and it just looks amazing, and I really love how they got it so accurate to the source material that it's unbelievable. And I don't even know if they will be able to improve upon this design in the future, so that's another thing that I just wanted to point out, unless they make it more expensive though, and even go the extra mile of adding the other side of the set in addition to the inside play features. That would be one other really cool thing to see when it comes to the set, but I have no idea how they're going to improve upon this in the future. It's just very well done, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So finally, that does really bring us to the interiors of both of these sets right here. So starting all the way from the bottom, when it comes to both of these sets, we get the kitchen on the bottom floor of the set. One other thing that the 2020 version does that goes the extra mile is allowing that dining room area and kitchen area to swing forward, so then you have some extra space even from the very back over here, which I think is very nice. And you even get another section of interior on the other side of this main entrance area, which is another really cool bonus when it comes to this set compared to the previous version, which also I just noticed that everything that was on that plate just went everywhere. We have the kitchen from the very corner. We have the table, which is a lot smaller and even just uses this more bench style, which we also saw within the Great Hall for the time period, which is another thing that I think is very interesting compared to this one that does it a lot better, giving you the table and even giving you a lot of this mix match for the chairs. When it comes to the interior of the older set, we get a lot more of the kitchenware onto the side where we have the plates, and we also have some drawers, and we have a lot more just random food when it comes to this one compared to the 2020 version that has more of a breakfast setting using the eggs and the waffles and even the syrup and the orange juice. Another thing that I think is very nice when it comes to both of these sets is that we do get the Weasley clock. Though the one that I think is more accurate is obviously the 2020 version, including all the little references for like school, work, and all of those places where the Weasley family can be found, compared to this one that uses just a regular sort of clock sticker, which I think is, you know, it was good for the time period, but this one just goes the extra mile of giving you that extra little bit of detail. Moving up throughout these sets, we get a lot more interior space when it comes to the 2020 version compared to the 2010. For the 2010, we get 2 bedroom areas over here, which this is supposed to represent, I guess, Ron's bedroom, since we get this little bunk bed using the same sort of color scheme right there as we see over here, but more of the blue added with the orange. We also get Harry's trunk within this set, which also uses the regular Hedwig mold compared to the Hedwig with the wings open that we get within the Burrow set, which is also very nice to see. And then we even get another bedroom from the very top of the 2010 version as well, which you can even just place Ginny within there, and then we can have Harry and Ron within this area, though Ron should be at the top just like we see within the 2020 set. And then we even go the extra mile for this set by including Molly and Arthur's room, which is very cool, and even a lot of very cool references, like we have the Weasley portrait from Egypt, and we have a Weasley jumper being made, we have all the Quidditch references, we have a reference to the Weird Sisters and Ginny's Quidditch team, lots of really cool references when it comes to the 2020 version compared to this one that doesn't go as much into those references, since it was supposed to be just a general display of this particular set. And then finally, one other thing that I did want to note about both of these sets right here is that we do get the wooden plank style right here, where we get these 1x3 tile pieces, which are prints for the wooden planks, compared to the stickers that we get when it comes to the 2010 version, which we get a lot longer for the wooden planks, as you can see from the sides as well, which I think is very interesting. And then finally, one last thing that I do have to say about this set is that the 2020 version does go the extra mile with the interior by having this part that opens up to reveal the fireplace, which is a separate build when it comes to the 2010 version. And then you even get this gear over here that you can turn to reveal the regular flames, or even the flue powder right here, which we also get the flue powder referenced within the set, which is another really cool thing. We get some prints for the wooden logs that you can throw into the fireplace, and even the furniture is detachable from this area, which is another very nice thing, and you can just spread that around and have fun with that. And then we even have the balcony from the very top right next to Ron's room, and then the chimney for this set is also very nicely done compared to the previous version, and just shows how well LEGO went all out with this particular set. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I really have to say for my comparison between these two builds. Moving back to the overall layout, we might as well look at the smaller builds that are included with both of these sets. When it comes to the smaller builds within these sets right here, we only get one small build within the 2020 Burrow, which is this small little fire display. And then for the 2010 Burrow, we get a lot more of these smaller builds. So taking a quick look at these, we don't really have anything too similar to the new Burrow within these smaller builds. We get this small little swamp area over here where you can have Bellatrix and Fenrir Greyback fighting against Harry and Ginny. We get some of these flame pieces that you can remove and use with these catapults, which is something that they decided to use within most of these 2010, 2011 LEGO Harry Potter sets. All you gotta do is just flick that off into the distance, never to be found again. You get 4 of these little flames that you can flick off into the distance. We also get another little catapult piece using these translucent red cylinder pieces. These are supposed to represent the jinxes that you can have Harry and Ginny firing off at the Death Eaters, who are firing off some fire at the Burrow. When it comes to the other build that's included within the 2010 set is this fireplace, which this they didn't build within the actual Burrow, compared to the 2020 version where we actually get the fireplace within the set, which makes a lot more sense. Right here you can see that we have a sticker from the very top, which isn't anything too special, and all you gotta do when it comes to this particular play feature is that you place a minifigure within this general area, and then you can flip it off like this. And then it will reveal 2 of these green flame stickers from there, which we do actually get a new green flame piece when it comes to the 2020 Burrow, so that's another very big improvement. And also the stickers on here are peeling rather badly, which is another bad thing when it comes to this particular set, compared to the newer stickers that are a little bit more durable. Though we still get some of the trans clear stickers when it comes to the new 2020 Burrow, but I don't really have to complain about those since I did place them the way that I want them to, and they are pretty much mostly on window pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for these smaller builds for the 2010 set. Moving those aside, we might as well move to the one and only build that we get within the 2020 set, which is this small little fire display. This, I really like seeing these larger flame pieces, which are dual molded using the translucent orange and the translucent black from the very top, just to show that smoke going up from the flames. I think that's a really cool new piece. I don't think that's been in too many other sets, so that's very nice. And then we also have the regular flame piece, and all of those are pretty much on these cone pieces within the translucent orange color. We get a main base, and then also you can move these from side to side using the clip piece connection, which is also a very nice little clever thing that LEGO did, where you can have Harry just running through the flames to hop over that to fight the Death Eaters. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for the smaller builds. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for both of these versions of the Burrow. Like I keep saying, I really love the 2020 version, and it's definitely a huge improvement compared to the 2010 version, even though the minifigures within the 2010 version do stand out a little bit better with some more exclusive prints. I still think that the addition of the 2 extra minifigures to the 2020 version definitely make up, even though the minifigures from both of these sets don't really portray the scene accurately. I think it's still very nice to see them, and I think it's really cool when LEGO does make a remake and it's miles better from the original version. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my look at both of these Burrows. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on these sets. Also remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so every time I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!